We're in. We started.
Yeah, just getting started now. So I just thought, let me give it a try. And I've got this thought about failure that's coming into my head and trying to find how best can I share this and try to get other people that are interested in the topic as well.
Okay, that's fantastic. Do you have a podcast out there somewhere?
Actually, I'm just setting up one now. I've been trying to set up a podcast, but then I've been like holding up until when I saw this app, I was like, okay, let me try and see. So I've just been like a blog site.
Okay, well, put out your blog site. What's your blog site? Where can people get information about what you do?
It's imani.me. IMAAN.me.
Okay.
So it's more like my website, and then there's like my journal there where I put up like most of the stuff that I'm interested in.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I know what you mean about starting the podcast thing, because you put it off and you delay it, and then other things are important, and then you look at what application do I use, and what am I going to talk about, and how do I upload it, and I was thinking through the same kinds of things, and then when I saw the Anchor system, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I have to experiment.
I thought so too.
Because all of the other systems, right? You basically are stuck in payment for the other systems. And what I was doing was I was making podcasts, and then I was uploading them to YouTube. I was turning the audio into video and then putting it on YouTube.
I see.
As a way to do things, but when this Anchor system came out, I thought, okay, let's go, let's do it, let's jump in. So, this topic of failure is important to you, yeah?
Exactly.
Okay, so what is it about failure that interests you? What is it that's really key? Why is this on your mind?
Okay, so basically I stay in Malawi, which is in Africa, and basically for starters, Malawi is regarded one of the poorest countries in the world. And as a young person, as a millennial, I'm very interested in all issues, entrepreneurship, technology, and whatnot. So I usually go to a lot of seminars and a lot of these workshops to hear people about different things. And since I came out of college, I've been trying to do like a lot more stuff based on what I read and what I hear from people, their success stories and whatnot. But then there's one thing that I keep facing like every day, which is failure. So I keep asking myself, why do I fail so often? Is it only me failing? And every time I go out and listen to people talk, they talk about their successes and whatnot. And I've really been like in touch with different people just to talk at personal level to find out what's your real story. And then I hear more of their failures than what they will say when they're out there, maybe at a workshop and whatnot. So I'm thinking, why are you not sharing these stories of failure and keeping people like me thinking, oh, it's gonna be rosy, everything will fall into place. And I'm thinking, how do I help create a culture where people can actually use their failure stories to communicate who they are now? So that's what has been getting in my mind.
Wow, that's so much information there. That's incredible. Let me tell you what's on my mind, what I was thinking about while you were talking. The first thing that I was thinking about was there's a great book in that concept of just how I failed. Right? There's a book there because there's all this information about motivation and success and taking steps forward, but people are afraid to talk about failure, I think, because failure is a subject where people are very vulnerable. It's really personal to people. But if you are not vulnerable, you're not going to make progress in life, because if you don't open yourself up to other people, you're not going to be able to build up trust.
Exactly.
So I think that's really important. Secondly, we are trapped in life. Yeah, and what I mean by this is a word is very often not a complete idea or a complete concept. And what I mean by that is unless you're looking at a holistic principle, you don't really understand. Unless you're looking at the fact that there's a positive and negative side to everything, then you're not looking at the full picture. And so do this in your mind. Imagine a circle. Draw a line down the middle, and on one half of the circle you've got failure, and on the other half of the circle you've got success, right? And that's the holistic principle, that success without failure does not exist, the same way that failure without success does not exist.
Right.
There are two things which are bound together, and we tend to separate them. We tend to separate them into talking about our successes and talking about our failures, when really the truth is we fail our way to success.
Yeah.
That's how we get there. Here, think of it like this. Think about the football player in a football match. Think about the high paid, like €1 million kind of forward or attacker or front player, right? He doesn't score every time he gets the ball, right?
No.
He doesn't score. I mean, if you look at like the World Cup the World Football Cup is coming up, right? And if you watch the games, you will see these players who are paid millions of euros. You'll see them miss the target a lot of the time.
Quite often than they score mostly.
Yeah, exactly. There will be more misses than actual shots on target, right? I mean, obviously they're still the best at what they do, but they're in a situation where they're under pressure like everybody else, and they're going to make mistakes like everybody else. You see it when it comes to, just using the football example again, you see it when it comes to penalty kicks, right? It should be pretty simple to put that ball in that goal, and you see the ball going everywhere, right? You see it going past the post and, off into the crowd and up into the stadium, right?
Very true.
As these players lose their nerve under the pressure. And so, as you quite rightly pointed out, failure is a key part of success. Understanding failure, living with failure, living through failure, getting to the other side, right? Because it's constant fail until success, right? And then maybe even that changes. Maybe what you define as success today, maybe in the future you look back and you don't see it as success anymore, right? Because you've progressed, you've moved. You think about the person going to the gym or doing exercises or, going jogging or running. You start with 1 kilometer and that's a success. And then you do 2 kilometers. That's a new level of success. And then you look back and you're like, 1 kilometer? That's not really a success anymore. So the target that we look at is always changing as well. The end point is always changing. As we grow and get more information, we redefine things that exist within our world. So I don't know. You want to give me a little bit of feedback about what I said? What's your perspective?
Yeah, I really agree with a lot of the things that you've said, and I think it's an issue of how we look at things, and that now shapes our definition of whether we're making progress or whether we are stuck just looking at, okay, I failed at that. And I love the examples that you gave about football players. Yeah. You watch the football match and you realize they had, let's say, 10 shots, and then probably if they were lucky, they scored once. Yeah. And there's no way you can just fix your eyes on, but I hit the ball 10 times towards goal. I didn't score, so I'm a failure. But what counts is that one lucky shot that you score into a goal. So I think it's possible for us, and very important that we don't focus much on what did I fail on, but focus also on how do I perfect this. So it's like that trip, like, okay, it's a journey. It's one step at a time, and you try one step, you make it or you get another one. So I think it's procedural, like you said. So I totally agree with that.
Yeah, one step at a time. It's not how do I live a perfect life. It's how do I perfect today, right?
Today, yeah.
How do I perfect this hour, right? Because I can't control everything that's going on around about me. I have very little control. You know, this as people. There's a million. Maybe right now. I'm in a town. I'm surrounded by 100,000 people. I can't control what they do, right?
Yes.
I can only control what I do. So I, take a short-term focus. Like how can I perfect this hour? How can I do as much as possible within this hour? How can I perfect this day? And then move on to the next step tomorrow and do it little bit by little bit. Also, you mentioned the element of luck as well. Now, luck is really something which is there in life. It's something that we can't avoid. It's something which is unescapable. There's the things that we can't control, the things that are uncertain. But you can put yourself in the right place at the right time.
At the right time, yeah.
You can choose to do that. Now, if we use a sports analogy again, we see in sport that's what a lot of the good players do. They're able to put themselves in the right place at the right time.
At the right time.
To take advantage of the situation, and that's controlling your luck. You actually have an element of control there. You can choose where you go. You can choose who you talk to and who you don't talk to. You can choose what you accept and what you reject, and that's powerful because you still have control. You still have control. If you notice, I think a lot of people who are successful understand that the environment that you are within has an effect on your mindset, on how you progress, and eventually your success as well. You've got to put yourself in the right kind of environment, because nothing can prosper in the wrong kind of environment, right?
No.
You know, if you're trying to grow flowers in the desert where there's no water, you're just not going to get very far in that kind of situation. So you've got to think. Now that's interesting because of the country that you come from. You say you come from this country which is relatively poor, but I guarantee you there are people there with energy, there are people there with ideas, there are people there with enthusiasm, there are people there with drive, they are motivated, they are intellectual people. The basis for everything that you need is there somewhere.
Very true.
Now that doesn't make it easy to solve the problems, right? Because we'd all be living beautiful, perfect lives if we could all solve everything, right?
True.
Right. But in general, everybody everywhere faces similar kinds of problems, difficult choices they have to make every day. So we've got about we're running out of time. We're running out of time. Okay, let's talk about if people want to contact you, they can contact you through your blog, right?
Yeah, they can contact me through my blog, which is www.iman.me, and I'm also on Twitter as @Iman, Iman with a double A, and I'm also on Facebook with the same handle, Iman. So people can contact me via those platforms, and then we can chat more and see how can we unfold this topic of failure.
That's great. If you're interested, then maybe we can have a part two about this. Yeah, you can pick a theme, pick a topic. We can get together and have another little chat about or maybe our own experiences of success and failure, and maybe how we got over them. If you're interested.
All right, great, Graham. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. I think I'll be following you up, and we can talk about different topics.
Okay, yeah, you can reach me with voice message here.